from the News Channel 5 Network, this is OpenLine.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to OpenLine. Glad you are with us tonight. We are talking about a topic we talk about often, but it's really a chance for you to call in with your personal situation and get some advice. We're talking about elder law, elder care law. And I often say, if you are caring for a loved one who is aging, this is a good chance to call in with questions about that. Or, as we all get older, questions about how do we prepare for that. And so very happy to have with us via Zoom, joining us from his office there in Hendersonville, Chris Johnson. He is an attorney with Takacs, McGinnis. Hello, Chris.
Hey, Ben, how are you?
I'm doing well. And you said, now you have a new baby, is that right?
A new baby, 1 month and 3 days old. So we got that. We got an 18-month and we got a 14-year-old. So our hands are full in the household right now.
And you might be a little sleep deprived. You could be sleep deprived.
Yeah, I'm going to do my best tonight.
All right, you're going to do your best. Wow. And so you have a baby at home. We're talking elder law. So we're covering the whole spectrum here. But
that's right.
Let me ask you, I like to start out, because it just helps set the proper framework here. Define elder care law. How would you define what it is that you do?
What we do is simple in its complexity. What we do is we help people tailor their personal care needs, their financial needs, and their legal needs, and we take care of it over time. And so what we do is we bring together a multidisciplinary team of attorneys, legal professionals, paralegals, legal assistants, public benefits specialists, elder care coordinators, and that team comes and looks at the family's issues from a holistic approach, and we set them up on a path that improves the outcome.
And does that mean, so we're talking wills, we're talking estates, we're talking
That's
trusts?
right. That's exactly. So we're going to get the legal documentation in place. That's what the legal professionals are for. And you just nailed the big ones. Powers of attorneys, wills, trusts, whatever is needed along those lines. If they need to access public benefits, whether it's Medicare, whether it's Medicaid, whether it's VA benefits, then we have the appropriate specialists in there to pursue those to a successful conclusion. And then we have our elder care coordinators. One's a licensed social worker, one's a former ombudsman. And what they do is they help get the right care and help the family find, locate, and then we're going to help them pay for the care that they need, because that's the essence of elder care law, is we want to make sure that our client is cared for. Most people are looking at the legal documents and setting those things up and making sure these things go where they're supposed to, but we want to make sure our client's cared for, because at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. And when you get the care right, you're going to get everything else right along the way.
And so who is your typical client? Is your client an elderly person who comes in, him or herself? Or is it someone whose parent is aging and they're coming in saying, please help my parent, please help us as we go through this?
It's both. I don't think we have a typical client. We have the spectrum. I've represented people in their 20s just getting their basic estate planning documents. They always kind of chuckle when we get them saying, I'm at an elder law firm and I didn't think this is where I needed to be. But we can start with those foundational elements. The sooner the better. But as it gets going, you've hit the two categories of people that really reach out to us the most. We have seniors, people who are getting at retirement age, nearing retirement age, and they're like, hey, we want to get our ducks in a row. We want to look at some advanced planning. We have some financial concerns or some care concerns. We have special circumstances because we're dealing with chronic illnesses, because we have a disabled adult child or something like that. Or we have the children reaching out going, I'm concerned about mom or dad or both, and we want to have a sit down and get the family around the table, and we want to craft a plan together. And oftentimes when it's the children reaching out, mom and dad, sometimes people just don't want to talk about these things. And that's tough, because ignoring it won't make the issues go away. And talking about passing away, talking about aging, talking about chronic diseases, these are not always people's favorite topics. But when you talk about them and you confront the issues up front, what's going to happen is you're going to get a better outcome down the road. And so those two categories you laid out are probably the two most popular candidates that we get. The kids coming in worried about mom and dad, or mom or dad are both coming in worried about themselves and the kids.
Let's recreate one where the kids come in and they're worried about mom and dad. Walk us through what happens. Like, what do you ask? What are the things you need, or what's the information you want to get? So someone comes in, they're worried about their dad is getting older, and it's the kids, and maybe one lives in Nashville, the others live out of state. What are the kind of things you ask? What do you want to know, and what can you help them with?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing is there's a bit of a process. So they're going to call, they're going to go through our intake process. There's about a 20-minute phone call where we get the initial information, and we want to know they're a resident in the state of Tennessee. I know that sounds crazy, but sometimes we get people calling from other states, and obviously we need to refer them to an attorney in that state. We want to make sure that what their goals are fall in the purview of things that we do. And then if we feel like, hey, this is, we can be some good, we can be beneficial to these people, then the next thing we'll do is we'll schedule them for an initial consultation. Between the phone call intake and the initial consultation, we'll mail them a workbook. It's a 5 or 6 page document, and they fill out a lot of personal information. They're going to fill out health information. They're going to fill out financial information, but we need all of that to make that first meeting productive. And now the attorney-client privilege applies the second they provide that to us. It doesn't go anywhere. We use it, review it, and then what we do is we start structuring the plan before they even come in here. And then what we want to do is we get them in, and so the children will bring mom and dad under this scenario, and we sit down around the table. And what I want to know, and one of the first questions I start off in every meeting is, what are you worried about? What are your concerns? Because if we're doing good planning, we should be addressing their concerns. I want to know what their worries are, and then I want to know what their goals are, because I don't want to be offering or providing something to the client that the client doesn't want. The client comes in and says, well, I'm just looking for X. That's a great data point to know right off the front. Maybe I just want a simple will, or I want a revocable trust. Some people come in and say, I need some advanced planning. And then what I look is, because we are the professionals, this is what we do. A lot of times the clients know exactly what they want and they have it right, but every once in a while a client thinks they want one thing and they want something, and when what would be beneficial is something else. And knowing what their goal was coming in allows me to say, I understand you wanted X, but here's why I think Y would be a better fit for your circumstances. And then what they're doing is the essence of getting a good client relationship is they're making informed decisions. And so there's a big education piece. I would say the first hour of our life care planning meetings is really educating them on the elder aging process, on the elder care continuum, on the decisions that are going to confront them as they're moving up. And then once we feel like, okay, they've got a real working knowledge of this, then we're going to shift and we're going to start focusing on, okay, here are the building blocks of the plan we want to put together for you. So it's really an involved process, but it's very involved planning, because we're taking care of personal care, legal, and financial needs. And the nexus of all three of those, they're important.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. As I encourage always people to call in with their situation, because people can benefit from hearing their other situations. Let's go to Karen. Karen, who's on the line. Hello, Karen.
Hello, I have 2 questions.
Go right ahead.
Can your power of attorney move you from one assisted living facility to another?
That's a great question, Karen. So the power of attorney can assist you in signing the documentation, setting up whatever move stuff has to happen. A power of attorney, so in this case, we're talking about durable general power of attorney, signing contracts, whatnot. They have a fiduciary obligation to do what's in your best interest. And the common misconception, and I get this all the time, especially when parents are signing power of attorney over to one of their children, is they're worried that for some reason they're making that child the boss of them. Like somehow they're losing their autonomy. And that's not the case with a power of attorney. Now, they will make decisions on your behalf if you're incapable of making those decisions. If it's a durable general power of attorney that survives your incapacity, then yes, they can make decisions when you are literally unable to make the decisions. But if you're in one assisted living facility and your kid says, hey, I know you like this one, but I'm going to make you move to the other one, the durable power of attorney doesn't give you that authority. That authority is vested in a conservatorship, and that's a very involved process. It involves the court system where you the court to take what is called the proposed ward, the person we're trying to get conservatorship over, and you're quite literally trying to strip their legal rights in that case. So the analogy I always use is when you have power of attorney, we're all kind of familiar with Microsoft Word. We take the mouse, we highlight the text we want to do, and we right click and we hit copy and paste. That's what we're doing with your legal rights in a power of attorney. Is we're copying them and pasting them. We haven't taken your legal rights away. We've just allowed someone else to help you exercise them. With a conservatorship, you're hitting cut and paste because this person is unable to make these decisions on their own anymore. So if it's a question, Karen, of can they force that person to move, the short answer is no. Can they assist them in helping them move if that's what their desire is? Absolutely.
All right, I think Karen's still on the line. Did you have another question, Karen?
I do.
Go right ahead.
My question is, if a state is a Uniform Power of Attorney Act state, is the agent's signature not required on the power of attorney?
The power of attorney, different ones go different ways. We are not required here in Tennessee to have the agent's signature on there. What you will often see, though, is let's say you take that power of attorney to a bank. The bank will typically ask for the agent to come in and sign an affidavit of some sort, swearing that to their knowledge, they are still the power of attorney. They're not, participating in any fraud or deceit or anything like that. And so even though the power of attorney document is not required to have the agent's signature, oftentimes when you use the power of attorney, the third party, so the bank, whatever other business you're conducting business with, oftentimes for their own protection, they will want the power of attorney, the agent, to actually come in and attest that, yes, I'm still the agent. I haven't been told that this has been revoked. I have no reason to believe that this power of attorney isn't valid. And that's just a nice kind of make sure a double check for the business. And so that's perfectly acceptable.
All right, Karen, two good questions. Karen, does that answer your questions?
Great question.
That does. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back. That sets the table, but we encourage you to call in. If you have a question, thought about all of this, give us a call. There's the number, 615-737-PLUS, 615-737-7587. We'll take a break. Be back right after this.